How's it hanging? What's up? Welcome back to welcome back to another episode in the Deadlands. So yeah, it's been a little while since the last episode, and I've just been doing a little bit of work around this area. This is where we've got all of our little farms. So I've got a cobblestone farm up there, furnace right back there, and then a chicken farm right here, and it's doing pretty good. I got quite a bit of food now. And up there, that's our kelp farm, and yeah, so as I was kind of just working on ideas for this area, I decided it might be nice to build a little castle back here. So we got a castle keep with a couple gates, and then up there, I think, is where I'm gonna build the castle with the kelp farm. Yeah, up there. But yeah, so I've just kind of let some stuff run here with the chicken. We're doing pretty good there. I've also brought over a few villagers. That way we can get an iron farm built at some point, and yeah, a couple more for maybe a villager breeder. But yeah, I've just been kind of working on this in the background, and I think it's doing pretty good. And you can kind of see, yeah, over there, I prettified the portal. Yeah, that's a good way to say that. But as I was working on this area, I kind of thought maybe doing stuff like this in the background. That way I can kind of just enjoy playing every once in a while. I don't have to make these things like the focal point of each episode. But that kind of begs the question, what is the focus this episode? And you probably already know. I don't know why I'm asking. But yeah, so this episode I decided it might be a good time to maybe start working on the Nether hub. So with that, I designed a pretty looking portal. That way, it just feels like a permanent thing, not just something I placed down on the ground. And so far, it kind of looks like a beacon. It just sticks out of the ground, and if I'm traveling around the world, I might be able to spot the beacon, and that can bring me home. But I do plan on actually putting a beacon in here. I have the space for it. I just don't have the materials at the moment, and at some point, yeah, I gotta make a kill chamber for the piglins. But we're gonna make our way through because I've already done quite a bit of work on the other side here. Yeah, big clear area. This this took a while. And for a little while, I didn't really know what I was planning to do here, but I've spent some time in creative, working on some ideas. I don't have like a concrete design. I think I'm going to do most of that work here in survival, but I did get a lot of this soul soil kind of just on the floor. That way I can, maybe once I get soul speed, I can run around, be a little faster. But, and yeah, so up there with the bedrock, I just cleared out all the netherrack, kind of thinking it might be, or it would look pretty cool to just leave that kind of available. I don't know. But yeah, so I do have some ideas, but I gotta maybe go get some materials before I can really start working. Well, I made a mistake. I have designed my fourth moss farm in the last year, and I just want to take a moment to talk about it. So we are here in my creative world for the Deadlands, where you can see all the little stuff I've worked on so far, including the Nether hub that we'll get to in a little bit. But I want to talk about the moss farm. So this design is the one I put together for Rotten Block, the one for Renee and I's flower area. And I've always had some issues with it. So the redstone here is big and bulky. It's ugly and stuff. I also have all this circuitry on the top with the water canal, and this is what transports all the bone meal. And then I got rid of the dispenser and the moss block that goes there. And yeah, I just kind of just improved upon like everything that made this farm. So I got rid of the bubble vader, and every bit of bone meal is transported through these water canals from below. And I actually ended up having to do something a little funky with the water. So I am moving all the bone meal along these canals, and yeah, every once in a while, some bone meal would get stuck underneath the hoppers here. And I ended up needing to move the bone meal to the other side. So I ended up adding this waterlogged leaf block here, and that actually that worked out perfectly. So everything just kind of moves to the right and gets past the hopper here. And then yeah, you can see there's nothing above the control circuit here. Yeah, this is much better. Just it's one block wide, and it's not tileable, but it just it works. It works, I guess. And then another thing I added was the ability to stand here and just collect some moss block. I don't have to like create a whole storage system for this stuff. I just stand here and I wait. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with this design. I just spent about a day working on it, and I think it just improves upon every detail that I've tried to incorporate into these moss farms over the last year. I'm just really happy with this design. So I don't know if you're confused about why I made a moss farm, but if you are, obviously I just need moss. I'm gonna be making a bunch of mossy stone brick and stuff, and I'm gonna be using the moss for some other stuff. You also probably noticed in the montage where I was collecting materials, I put together or got a bunch of cactus and stuff. And that's because originally I was going to be getting all these pitcher pods so I can make cyan dye. But to save on time, I just decided to get all the cactus and make the cyan dye myself. And after a few days of putting together materials, I think we're ready to actually start working on the Nether hub now. So I've already gone ahead and put a little bit of effort into making the hub here. I just wanted to make it safe, so while I'm working on it, I shouldn't be getting too many gas and skeletons and stuff. And as you can see, to kind of save on resources, I put up these cobblestone walls to just kind of cover up some space. So my plan is to take a lot of that stone that I have and just kind of make these U shapes, right? You can kind of see it here, right? We're going to go around a stone, do all that, and then we're going to texture that stone with like cyan terracotta, mossy stone brick, and yeah, all that stuff. And probably the best way to really show you what I'm talking about, I'm just going to go ahead, get things built. And yeah, that should be cool, right? Yeah. You know what? I think I think we're good to go. I think we're done. I think. At least for now, I'm pretty happy to say that the Nether Hub is complete. I do know I probably want to do some detailing below, and I know underneath the east tunnel, I want to get a door. That way I have some access to the Nether there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out, and I'm pretty happy to say it is done. But yeah, so when I was kind of working on ideas for this, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I eventually I just kind of came up with, the white background there, and then I took that rock tool, the U shape I was referring to a little bit ago. I just kind of made these U shapes around the area, and then I textured it and stuff and made it look all pretty. And then I don't know, since we're in the Nether and it's usually kind of common practice to designate each cardinal direction, I came up with these abstract letters, and I think they all look pretty good. The E is probably my least favorite. It just doesn't look that great, but the W is definitely my favorite. It's pretty compact as a W. And W's are like really hard to do, and get them like looking pretty good. But yeah, I think I'm pretty happy with how the hub has turned out, and yeah, I think it's about time we move on to the next bit. So I think it could be pretty fun to maybe go fight the dragon right now. Yeah. And so while I was clearing out the Nether hub, I ended up with like a bunch, so many of these music discs. I don't even know what to do with them. But I also ended up like with all these gas tiers, and I had enough to make myself a dried gas, and I think it might be really fun to like go find the end portal, flying on the back of a gas. Yeah. Considering everyone's seen a dragon fight or two, I'm just gonna go in and get this over with. Ooh. I still haven't named this guy, and I was wondering maybe one of you guys out there has an idea. If you do, leave a comment, and I will be sure to check them out. And I guess I'll pick one, and then maybe this guy will get a name. Yeah. So I made my way into the Nether, and I found myself a few wither skeleton skulls. And then I made my way back into the end, and you know what? I got myself a Nether star. And so now I've got myself a beacon, and if you remember from the beginning of the episode, I needed a beacon for the portal. But I still don't have all the iron or all the blocks I need, so we're going to be spending the last part of this episode working on the iron farm that I think it'll fit perfectly, like underground here. Yeah, I think we'll be able to manage that. Yeah, okay, so I've already gone ahead and built the iron farm, because I think I've already got enough time lapses this episode. But the farm's been working and doing a pretty good job. Yeah, lots and lots of iron. I did end up having to like spawn proof a little bit around the farm just because I was getting some golems outside, but I think we're pretty good now. I haven't seen one in a while. And as you can see, there's a golem. He just died. And yeah, so below the platform here is our zombie and the 3 villagers that we need for this farm. Doing a pretty good job. I think we get a golem every 30 seconds, which is, I think, the default number, time, length. I don't know for villagers to spawn golems and stuff. And as you can see, I've already got the beacon in. It's doing a pretty good job here. And yeah, I've got, that's not what I wanted to do. I got speed, I got regen. Ooh, we can test this. Yep, cool. It worked perfectly. So those eggs, they attract the piglins, and yeah, they just die in the powdered snow. But yeah, the portal's all done now, and I think it's about time we get this episode wrapped up. Well, we are finally here at the end, and I say that because I spent so many days trying to find materials and stuff. But yeah, I did also want to like focus on making a good episode here, so I focused a lot on like the energy level, uh, the edit, and if you didn't notice, I was messing with my audio as well, trying to make it perfect or as good as I could get it. Like I've noticed I sound weird in other people's stuff, and I just wanted to fix that. But I think I sound pretty good right now. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, if you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. See you.